Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. This is a sort of box opening for our new Craft Happy collection, and I just wanted to take a couple moments to share that whole collection with you, but also to create a page and maybe add some new things that maybe you haven't seen before. My name is Leslie Tice. I'm from Newland, North Carolina, and I'm an advisor with Creative Memories. And I appreciate you all joining in and taking some time just to give a little look at what is new and exciting. So let me scoot over and show you the new Craft Happy collection. And with Craft Happy, it's basically hobby based. And what I realized doing this is that I don't really have any other hobbies. It's purely scrapbooking. So as I start to age up, I might need to start looking at doing some other items, just maybe even to create pages. And sometimes we just do that, don't we? We see a page that someone made and said, oh my gosh, that's where I want to go. Or I would love to check that out or share some more information. Or, oh, I really need to see that or plant that. And we see that based on the pages that we see. So hopefully this uh, collection will encourage you to go ahead and to maybe try some new things, to try a new hobby here and there. So let me go ahead and just show you this. Even though you aren't crafty, you may not be crafty in some other areas besides scrapping, and we do have the Scrap Happy for that. But this may be able to fit into some other ideas. The papers are gorgeous, and one side is icon based on different hobbies. And the stickers are that also, but they can transfer over to school days or maybe to some other things that you might be working on. So let's take a peek first. It has a lot of different coordinating colors are navy, beige, dark sea green, canary, and avocado will work really well with these. Of course, bright white will also. And so Craft Happy has a lot of different papers, and even though one side would be iconically crafty, the other side is going to be some general tones that will carry over through some other collections or some other pages that you may want to do. So this one is absolutely beautiful. The wonderful little banner and flowers is so cute. And then this one is just scissors. So it can go with any different craft that has scissors on it. So that's one of the papers that I just really adore. Also, you have this beige with just splatter paint on it. Can go ahead with the watercolors or the oil-based paints that you may be doing if you're in that. But it also has the sewing end of spools of thread on the back side. So once again, even if you don't sew, you can still use this beautiful beige with a water spritzing or the paint spritzing on it. This green flowery ribbon type paper is very beautiful. And then you have the quilted on the back side. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need quilting, but you can go onto those countryside drives, maybe through Amish country or other areas where you see the quilting on different barns, different things like that. And then you have your cutting mat type paper on that side. And then you have sewing and a whole bunch of different types of crafting words on this side. So this is really the only paper that is basically iconic on both sides. And that's not a problem because you can use this brown for this blue for other sides, maybe just cutting out these squares and going from there. This is gorgeous. I love this for any kind of springtime, maybe little girls, Mother's Day, just those fun, bright, I need something to just pop off the page and give me that look. And on the back side, it's just watercolor swipes. So this is also one that you can use for any season, anytime. And then you have this woven look on one side and then rulers on the other. So this could be back to school. It could be for measuring different arts and crafts also. So you have this nice paper on this back side. So that is a lot of that is our paper choices. And then you have your stickers. So let's just open this up and see what our stickers give. If this is going to be pretty much, I haven't really looked at this. We got to see it in Cancun. Thank you to all my customers, my friends, my team members who've helped me to earn this trip, as well as the personal sales that I had to gain to do that. I greatly appreciate that and the ability to be able to share time with a lot of my sisters that are that are advisors also. So very fun, pretty, mm, pretty hobby based on this one, but this is great for all those that have a variety of different hobbies. I used to cross stitch. Maybe I need to get back into it. So your border stickers are your sewing machines and these nice rulers here and buttons. So those could be general for things. And there's some scrapping here, sewing machine. I'm sure that you can come up with a variety of different ways to use these in your albums. And then this one is all the tools that you may need to use, from knitting needles to crochet hooks, buttons, a tape measure, could also be used as a counter. Um, oh, there's a little tape runner there. That's a little cute little tape runner. Thimbles, so safety pin, cute things that you'd be able to use. Pencils, go carry to school days, paints. So there is some crossover there. Something new that we have that we get to add to our pages are these rub-on transfers. Rub-on transfers, I love rub-on transfers. We've only had it a couple times. But once you get used to them, they are so fun to use. But getting used to them is making sure that you don't put your fingers or put the heat of your hand on them before you're ready to rub them off. So the rub-on transfers are here, and they're just simple lines, and these can be used for anything. So this is something that I would put just to put those extra little lines or extra little things that you may want to put on your page. All right, so I would definitely be looking at doing something with these and at least adding that to your card and getting that in. And then we have another new thing, which are our vellum embellishments. So this is a new item for us. We haven't had these before. And for those that have watched or know my videos, one of the things that I do is I put my embellishments on the cover sheet as I start part of an organizational technique. So I am still going to do that, and I'm still going to use my repositionable tape runner for that, because when I pop things out, I'm going to just pop them off with my multi-purpose tool. So when I need it, I just slop it off and put it off, and those dots are just going to rub off the back. So you're going to want to have your vellum tape runner refill to be able to use those so that they look nice on the page. So here's a nice cup of coffee. So that can carry over. These are just things that you're going to be able to put on almost anything. So this is what I would advise you to do, is to go ahead and just lay these out and put these on the cover sheet so that when you're working on it, it is super easy for you to just look at what you have to choose from. A lot of our problems is that when these are put in the packages or we dump them in a tray, there's a lot of wasted time just trying to pick out the ones that you really want to use. So there are some that you're going to be able to trim apart. But I would just go through and put these on. They are rather fun. Even when you have those mishaps about just wanting to sew, you can just, stick that on a page. Just some general designs also, like these nice circles. This can go through any kind of a fun heart page, even though there's needles, knitting needles there. You have the wonderful tape measures, more yarn. We'll stick those two together. And I don't know if there's a right side or a wrong side to these. It doesn't look like it. So look at these cute little animals. Now, I saw this on a page done by Brenda Rose, and I thought she had created the animals, but she didn't. She just used those. For our sewing friends, I think that's a cutter. I hope that's a cutter. And we have a little mannequin here. So safety pins, there's a lot to choose from in putting in these in. Here's also the camera. Cut from the same cloth, can be used for anything. So anyway, I would go ahead and I would stick all these on, find places to put these so that you can easily and quickly pull these off. There are a lot of them. And so I would definitely make sure that you are, oh, die cut fun. That's kind of fun. It says happy, but one way it says happy, die cut. That's very cool. This is something we use within our own industry. Okay, anyway, I'm just getting all excited now because I'm seeing it. I just had all my mom's knitting needles at one time, a glue gun. So there are super fun things to be putting on. This one's going to need 2 sheets. So just use one of your extra cover sheets and put those in. You've got scissors, pencils, paints. So lots of fun in these. And you're going to be able to find different spaces, different places to put these. All right. So let's put that up. And then one of the things that we have is this new beautiful scalloped crochet decorative border edge. And so I'm going to just cut a 3-inch piece out of this because a 3-inch, and I'm going to cut 2.5 because I want to see if I can get them closer together. So I'm going to cut a 2.5-inch strip so that I can go ahead and make this. And I am just going to have to put something here to find out where my edge of my paper is so that I can slide this in. So this is just a quick technique if you have a smaller piece of paper because I'm putting it in where these black marks are. Left or right-handed, doesn't matter. So I've put this piece of paper just as a guide to get me started. All right. So I'm going to now put it in here and I'm going to pull this off. This is all set. When you punch, one of the things that you're going to be able to see is that when you punch, there's this little arrow. Oh, and you're going to put that little arrow or that little triangle and match it up. And that's going to help you to make your next cut. You'll put your image on the blue marks, but that arrow also is one. Make sure you push it all the way to the top, push it down. Now there's a lot of little pieces that come out from this. So when there's a lot of little pieces, you're going to want to empty it every once in a while. But if you just follow that arrow, it's an easy way to match this up. All right. So I'm going to just move those out of the way. Completely. And then I'm going to turn this over, and it looks like 2.5 is going to be a little bit too short. And so we're going to go ahead and not worry about 2.5. Maybe 2 3/4 would be better. 3 gave me a little bit too much room, and I didn't want that much room there. So I'm going to get that in there. And let's see, we're just going to do a double border and see how it turns out. Oh, I like that. It gives a totally different look. All right, anyway, find your triangle, put your triangle on there, and go through. So it's a very cool border to be able to work with and to play with on this. So this is one that I would have in your stash, whether you're going to do just the tippy tops of this, you could cut through this border here and make it even smaller. If you want, that's kind of a seashell look on top of it. So I would advise you that this is one that you should probably add to your border stock if you are able to. All right, so let's move these out of the way. All right, so that is the new Scrap Happy collection along with your scalloped crochet border maker. I'm sorry, decorative border punch. Make sure that you're adding Vellup tape runner to that if you're going to be using those embellishments. All right, this is the page we're going to create today using the scalloped crochet or border punch. All right, so I'm going to work with using this and then also demonstrating the different, this one I used the decorative blades that are on the back of your trimmer. I chose those and to get the right cut to just flip that paper over. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cut this, but we're going to take one of our papers And I am going to do this. I think I'm going to do this yellow paper. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to accent with that. So the first cut is going to be 12 by 6. All right. So we're just going to cut this half. So this other half, you may not need to use because unless you want to use the other side for mats. But I am going to do this on a bright white base just because I want to use the rub-offs. All right, next thing is that we're going to cut it diagonally. So we're going to cut it so that we have 2 triangles. So the way I'm going to do it is because it's not going to fit. It does not fit on my trimmer to do this. So I'm going to go as far up as I can, and I'm going to put it on that little triangle, the very, very tippy top, right underneath the one. And I'm going to slide this bottom over as much as I can into the tray. But I'm going to then put my arm down, and I'm going to use these guides that are tucked up in top to really tell me where I need to cut. So that's the one I need to cut there, and then pull it from the bottom. And I now know where I have to move my paper. So my guides being out are allowing me to line this up absolutely perfectly. So this one needs to go here to be perfect. And down here, that's it. So then I'm going to go as much as I can on my paper. And then I'm going to trim with the scissors. So I'm going to go corner to cut and corner to cut. All right. So that is done there. What's on the other side of this? But I could probably use this for mats. All right. Now I'm going to take my scallop border and I'm going to cut on the diagonal cut line. That's how I'm going to get this effect here. All right. So this is just a nice single page. So I do not want my straight edge. I want this diagonal. What you're going to do with your die, you're just going to put it in any place you want. All right. Any place that's going to give you a starting point. Make sure that it is tucked very, very tight on top. When we have a diagonal, we tend to let it kind of slip off. So press it down and then you're going to move, and there's our triangle. We're going to put that triangle right there, making sure it's tucked up on top. This is matching. And you're going to punch, and that will give you that other end that's done. All right. So then we put it back in, and we just go through using our triangles again. The triangle is there. It all evens out nicely on the template, the blue template that's on there. Slide it, punch, slide it. And if it gets stuck and cuts off, then you know you need to just match up that image on there and punch. And there's another triangle, half a triangle because it cut off on me, and punch. And I have this all set and done. We have one more to do. Once again, and there's a piece that's stuck there. Once again, put it in any way that you want to. We could start it out a little bit further this time. And I'm going to go this way, and my triangle is going to match. Punch, match. That was a little silly to do it way out there because I need to do one more here. So I'm going to have to squeeze it in and get it so it matches. Get this so it matches here. And got that little tip done. Very good. Now go here. And I have my triangle on the left-hand side. So it's a little puffy, but it gives a beautiful effect. All right. Oh, one more. I'm doing this right along with you as we're creating. So, okay. And we are done with our punch for right now. So let's take out our paper, and I'm just going to use the bright white because I think it's a fun paper to go ahead and use. And you can decide how you're going to put this on. If you want it on that side, if you want it down on the bottom. I am going to go ahead and use my repositionable tape runner for this. and flip it off to the side. Sorry, I'm trying to use my, so you could even do that side. I'm gonna go to the top on here. To there. And then I'm going to do the bottom. So I can just do, I'll just do it on the paper here since you're here and this is just white paper. Then I can wipe off all the reposition that may have gotten stuck there. And go ahead and put this to the side. All right. Because what I wanted to show you is you can do a number of different different things. Now, I love how it framed it by just putting a small slice using the 12-inch decorative blades there. But I really want to use these rub-on transfers. So I am going to try and use it. I think I'm going to, because I know that when the heat of your hand heats it up, it makes a pretty big difference. And all of a sudden you're working with trying to get, that off. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to do things a little different. I'm going to go ahead and take a 12-inch trimmer and I'm going to try and match this somewhat. I am going to use I'm going to use the scallop because I really liked how the scallop turned out on my other one. And I'm going to use this brighter paper just because I want it to pop for a quick second. So I'm going to pull this off and I'm going to put my scallop in. And I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper and I'm going to just cut my first edge and see what my first edge gets. All right. So I have the soft curve for this. So now I have to flip this paper in order to get another soft curve. And I am going to put it out to this edge that really isn't an edge. It's just the first indentation on the board. And make sure it's at the top like the other one was. And I'm going to press this down. And I'm going to get the exact same soft edge here. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my rub-on transfer and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just do this white line. And I kind of want to show you just how this is going to work out. And so I'm going to trim this down. And I'm going to trim this. And I'm only doing this because when I remove the paper in the back, all of them become transferable. All right. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to remove this paper off the back of it, pull the paper off, and sort of like a sticker, but I'm going to go ahead and lay it on here. And you simply rub it off. And the heat of your hand, or you could use a tool. And I'm going to try that it didn't stick. I'm going to also use my multi-purpose tool and just rub this. Right? And let's pull it off. And I have this super sweet, soft line, soft stitching line that goes across the top of it. All right. I'm going to add this one to my page. Going a little bit more bold on this yellow. If this is the main yellow, probably the other. And I'm going to just put this up here. Trim off. All right. And now I'm going to cut this again, but you'll see that my edge is the hard wave. So I want to retrim this. So I get my soft scallop there. And then I'm going to flip it. And I've decided that my cut line is going to be this first indented edge here. And just lay that down, lay your arm down. Press pretty hard just so that your arm stays there. I have another one done. And now I need to find one more. I want another white. And the only issue is that there are not two of the same. So I'm going to go through, and this would probably be faster if I use the 12-inch trimmer, but I'm just going to use this one. And this is kind of one of those little putsy tasks that we sometimes just love to do on our pages because it gives us great joy. All right, yes, it would be much easier to just take this strip of stickers and go through it, but we don't have this strip of stickers. And it looks like I just made those lines all by myself. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this paper off, maybe. And some are a little bit more cautious and they're just going to leave their paper on. Make sure my X's are right to the edge. One all the way. Yeah. With fingers and my multi-purpose tool. And it's kind of one of those voila factors. You just go, it's like, oh, I love it. And there we go. It's on there also. Kind of looks like it's always been on this piece of paper. All right. So I have, I just like, I just think it's empty when there's nothing on this edge of it. That's the only reason I'm putting this here. I'm trying to give a finished look to this border. All right. Trim those off. And then I can just add my different items that I want to put on there. I could, because that piece of paper has these really cool boxes here. So since that's 6, I could do a 4x6 photo. Oh dear. Make sure you trade out your blades when you're done using a decorative blade. Just gonna trim that off. All right. So it's not truly a 4x6, but pretty close, pretty close. And I'm gonna trim this off. Wouldn't have been a bad border to be on there. And I'm gonna do 2 4x4s. I could get 3 4x4s out of here, I would, but I didn't do this the way I cut it now. And all right. So I could take my photo journal, my photos here, and put just one simply here, one here, maybe one here. And then you could use this as a journal box on the top or on the bottom, or use it as a 2x4 photo. That would be adorable also. All right. So that I have those all laid out and ready to go. So let's just trim this down a itty bit. And these really easy little photo mats could just slide on here. All right, so then that page is all done. Or you could just put photos right on. I probably wouldn't use a mat on this. I'm just going to put my photos because I really do want my photos to be the center of this page. And so I would just lay that out. But that's a great way to go ahead and use those transfers. All right. So I hope that you enjoyed today and was able to maybe learn something new. So looking forward to next time to see you. This is Leslie Tice from Newland, North Carolina. If there's anything that I can do to help, please just let me know.